Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Wednesday afternoon. It's Diwali time, and I wish every one of you a very happy Diwali, a very prosperous New Year, and a very happy Bhai Dooj, wherever you're celebrating. But as we come to this end of Diwali, and as we come to this end of this part of the festive season, we should not forget that we are all in business. And there are the Q3 numbers that need to be achieved. And then there is the 23, 24 numbers that need to be achieved. And it's also the time to start planning for 24, 25 because we are all in the process of exponential growth. My name is 𝗪𝗏 and I'm the founder of Beyond Red Ocean Consulting. I'm an Action Coach certified business coach. We are a firm owner for East India and other parts of the country. And today I have the pleasure and honor of having three of my co-coaches at various cities. And all of us are trying to work on that same path, and that is to help business owners scale up, help business owners build sustainability, and help business owners build a business legacy. We do not want business owners to fail. We want that legacy of businesses to continue. So, without much ado, let me introduce three esteemed coaches. I have 𝗕𝗵𝗆 a business owner himself, 75-year-old business, and he's a business coach with us. Again, Action Coach certified business coach based out of Kolkata. I have Anuj Sareen out here, illustrious career, corporate career, and now an Action Coach certified business coach operating from Mumbai. And Mansi, who has been in multiple cities, again, a very accomplished professional, and now Action Coach certified business coach operating from Nasik. So Mumbai and Nasik will be her area of work, and obviously other parts of Maharashtra. So we are not restricting ourselves to anything. Amitabh, you are a business owner, and I remember I met you in 2021, I guess. And at that time, you have been running a successful business, 75-year-old business, printer supply, very powerful brand. What made you come into business coaching? I hope it was not a mistake.
Well, thank you for inviting me for this live streaming session. And Diwali and season's greetings to everyone who's watching us live. It's a pleasure being with you. So to answer your question, primarily got into coaching because I benefited from coaching myself, from your coaching. My business got into a more systemized and more process-oriented method. We were obviously 75 years is a long time. I'm the third generation running my business. Previous two generations, there were different times, the different product ranges. The market was totally different. The requirement in the market was totally different. Now things have changed. Aspirations have changed. The people who work for us, their aspirations have changed. People who we work with, their demands have changed. People have become very, very demanding. So to understand this whole thing and put it into a very systematic manner and process-oriented manner, I wanted to get into a coaching session with you. And once that was successful, I realized that this is something which I could share with people of my ilk across the, periphery of society. There are so many people in Calcutta, which is my hometown, within my friend circle, who were facing challenges similar to me. And I felt that they would all benefit greatly if we could spread the message around and help them in scaling up and in sustaining their businesses properly. That's the primary reason I got into coaching.
So one word that I heard, Amitabh, you mentioned multiple times, is the word help.
Yeah.
So is business coaching all about helping?
Most definitely. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I think if we are not in the space of wanting to help somebody else become successful, we should not become business coaches. And that's a philosophy that we share. Anuj, you had a very extremely successful corporate career. We do not know what all you have achieved in your corporate life. Then why give up everything when you could have continued for a few more years and get into something which is absolutely unknown? Because I remember that when I got into this, I also had the same feeling that we are corporate. We have never worked in the SME, MSME space. At that point in time, I was not an entrepreneur. And I would assume that you had a similar thought process coming into it. But why give up everything else and become a business coach?
Yeah, thanks, Malloy, and season greetings to everybody who's looking at the stream live. Uh, I think from my perspective, it's important to understand where I've come from. So I'll speak a little bit about my journey
Sure.
as well. And also, in the course of that, I'll directly answer the question that you posed in terms of why business coaching. Right. So I have about 22 years of professional experience in financial services. And during this period, I've primarily worked in client-facing roles, at the same time keeping a very close eye on portfolio, governance, risk, and regulatory matters. Um, you know, this course, like I guess, is the career of anybody else in the corporate world, has had its ups and downs. But for me, what was more important is to realize what my core skill set is, and then to see how I can apply that into a different scenario. Now, I've been doing banking for almost 16 years, which is a long period of time to serve with a single organization in a single department.
Wow.
And I thought, it was high time that things were required to change. It's just that I personally felt that I hit a pinnacle, and I needed to try my hands at something new. Now, as a corporate relationship banker, I've always approached client relationships from a solutioning perspective, where I more interact with leaders, with clients to understand their issues, to understand their needs, and then provide solutions to them to address those needs, rather than selling a banking or product or a banking service to a client. And I thought that experience is something that I can extend into coaching now, right? Where I can sit with business owners, I can understand their challenges, work with them, and use the action coach tools, techniques, and resources that are available to align their processes to achieve favorable outcomes for the owners. So that's where I felt that, coaching, whilst it is new and I wanted to try my hand at something new, but at the same time, it's not completely alien, because it still involves dealing with a customer, dealing with a client of a similar profile. I have earlier dealt with the clients at CXO levels. Over here, it will require more dealing with the leaders who are directly owners and therefore have more at stake. But just dealing with them, understanding their issues, and then providing them solutions, working with them on solutions to fix those issues is what I'm really looking forward to.
So you're right, Anuj. While we have never been in the coaching, business coaching space, but having worked in corporates at senior levels, at some point in time, all of us have done some kind of coaching or the other, whether it's employees, whether it's our clients, or whether maybe not structured, maybe what came to our heart and we did it, but we have all done it, right?
True, true.
Excuse me. And now we have the luxury of having a globally accepted model of action coach, which will help us address the challenges that the SME MSME sector is facing. But more than the challenges, I think it's more about the opportunities, because what India is going to offer in the next 10 years to the SME MSME sector, no other country in the world is going to offer. How does that business owner who has done his business and become successful achieve those goals is what I think all of us are looking at targeting. Mansi, young person, very young, very successful career in large organizations. I remember I met you about a year back, and you're flourishing in your career. And then all of a sudden,
Yes.
not all of a sudden, I'm sure it was planned. Somewhere it was destined to happen, and it was also planned.
Yeah.
You decided to move out of professional and into business coaching. And while you come from a business family, but why business coaching?
Right. So I've been working since past 15 years, and being a chartered accountant by profession, I've seen or worked with MSMEs quite closely right from start of my career. Like you said, coming from business background as well. So I have seen MSME issues. They have very unique, typical issues, which normally, if you work in corporate, you are not even aware that MSMEs have such kind of challenges. But I always have seen those challenges. So I thought, while I wanted to do something of my own, I thought, why not try to help these MSMEs scale up, try to them achieve their goals, and nothing better than being part of their growth and yeah, seeing them flourish.
Oh, absolutely. I think very
So yeah,
articulately,
that took me
very
here.
articulately put up, Mansi. Without using the word help, you want to help all of them scale up. Anuj, I know it's a young journey that you have had in the business coaching space, uh, but what do you think are some of those opportunities for the SME, MSME sector, and what are those things that we can do for them into helping them address those challenges and leverage on the opportunities?
Uh, Sorry, Malay, no, that was towards me.
Yep, that was towards you. Yep, Manoj.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So look, I think one of the biggest challenges that most businesses face in today's world is staying relevant, right? Business cycles in today's world have shortened extremely. Even if you look at the financial services industry, events that earlier used to happen once in a century are now happening once in a decade, right? The 2008 financial crisis, it took a long time for the banking industry to come out of that. There were continued ripple on effects of all of that. We've heard about the failure of a 150-year-old Credit Suisse bank just last year. So these things are happening much quicker than they used to in the past. And what it essentially means is that very cliched, but it's extremely true in today's world. There is only one constant, and that constant is change, right? And to deal with that, I think every business owner, and especially an SME, MSME, they need to continuously upskill and better themselves, right? And that's where we as coaches can probably come in, not only to help out the owner to streamline some of the things that they are facing issues with, but also to work with their teams to ensure that everybody is aligned on a common direction, which is growth.
Yep, absolutely. Because in my
I
5 years,
would
and I obviously have the luxury of this 5 years and having met a lot of clients. From what I've seen in the SME, MSME sector is the blinker approach of the business owner. They feel that certain things can happen or should happen in only a certain way. They are not ready to take off those blinkers and challenge themselves that why should things be the way it is. And I had conversations with Amitabh and other business owners. One thing that we have been able to do in some cases is take off those blinkers and show the business owner that why are you stuck where you are stuck when there is a huge road that you can move into.
also, to a large extent, Malay, over here,
Yeah.
you'll find that MSME. I come from a SME, MSME background myself. What you'll find strikingly obvious over here is uh, they are here. The business owners are here. Aspirations are here. Higher
Mm.
up. There's a huge gap. And to bridge this gap, what they need to do is actually unknown to them.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge. They don't know that there are systems and processes which can be put in place to bridge that gap very easily, very nicely, and without losing sleep over it. But
Mm.
that lack of knowledge is something which needs to be addressed, and that is something which I think you're doing very well.
So just to add on to that, Amitabh, how easy it is for a business owner to change?
You heard me say this time and again.
Yes, and I want you to say it now.
It's actually all about mindset and attitude.
Yeah.
If you want to change, you will change. If you don't want to change, you can pull the quilt over your head and go back to sleep. But most business owners do not want to do that, which is why they are in business in the first place. Entrepreneurs have a natural inclination for growth. They have natural aspirations, natural dreams, and they want to fulfill those dreams. And because of that, they want to change. And if they do not want to change, they will not remain in business for very long.
Correct. And like we keep on discussing that probably the entrepreneur knows what he wants, but does not know how to achieve what he wants. And that's where we as business coaches can play in that role because we have the luxury today of having this knowledge of the systems and processes that can help them scale up and also the success stories behind us. So Mansi, coming to you, you are in Nasik, and today India is all about the tier 2, tier 3 cities. It's no longer a metro story. The metro
Yes.
story is long over, right? It's about the tier 2, tier 3 cities. You have family business, and you've
Yes.
worked as a chartered accountant, you worked with large organizations which were talking to the SME, MSME sectors. So what are some of the challenges that you feel that the SME, MSME sector face, but is unknown to the external world, the corporates and others?
So I think the issues that MSMEs really face is one is trying to maintain their margins, profit margins, which because of not having that brand name or maybe not being that equipped with building that brand, they cannot command their prices. They are always into that pricing competition, which if which they cannot survive that, they'll start cutting the corners in the cost. Once they start cutting the corners in the cost, again everything goes for a toss. So this is a very typical problem which most of the MSMEs face, trying to manage costing and the quality of product that they are delivering. Whereas if we are talking about the big corporates, because they have big brand name, they always quote larger than life figures, but it is, I mean, they can float with that, but the MSMEs find it tough.
So one of them, what Mansi is talking about, is branding and the brand. And I want to throw this up to all of you and whoever wants to take it. Why do we think that the SME, MSME sectors is scared of investing in marketing?
I think, Malloy, the typical pitfall with marketing is that most people, it's ingrained in them by the chartered accountants and by the finance people around them that marketing is a cost, right?
Yeah.
But really it works, it can really work very beautifully if you look at it differently. Don't look at marketing as a cost, but look at it as an investment, right? With the right marketing strategies that are cost effective and where you test and measure that they give you the fair returns on your investment, the marketing strategy can work beautifully, not only to enhance your sales, but also to build your brand.
Mm, mm.
Right. So,
So,
Yes,
so I
yes,
One
Mansi.
thing we keep hearing very, very often. Sorry, Mansi, please go ahead. After you. Sorry.
So I also think that this test and measure thing, because we have tools and we understand how do you test and measure, you really know that how do you test and measure, like how much should be the investment and what should be the returns, and you can actually calculate that. But most of the MSMEs are unaware that how much do you invest, how do you test and measure, what returns should we expect from this kind of investment. And if those numbers are large as compared to their expectation, they go on back foot and say, oh no, forget it, we don't want to do it.
Right.
So I think
Yes,
that
Amita.
test and measure becomes difficult for them.
Test and measure becomes extremely important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so one very, very obvious confusion that most people in this sector have, and especially in Calcutta, you've seen it very often. People get confused between marketing and sales being the same thing.
Yeah.
Marketing का आदमी कुछ sale नहीं करता है. That is a
Yeah.
very common statement.
Absolutely. I was about to come to that. Yeah.
So I think we need to educate people about the difference between marketing and sales and show them how marketing can help them in ramping up sales. That's very important.
So I don't think it's only the business owners, because I remember when I was in school and we used to, I live in suburbs of Mumbai, and that time suburbs of Mumbai did not have any shops, large shops. So we used to come to a place called Dadar in Mumbai for our regular Durga Puja shopping, right? So what did we tell our classmates? We did not tell our classmates that we are going for a Durga Puja shopping. We are going for Durga Puja marketing, right? This marketing word itself has been so badly abused, if I can use the word, that we do not actually know what is marketing. And when I talk to a large number of business owners, like Amitabh rightly said, and it's nothing to do with Calcutta, it's in multiple cities, my marketing is not giving me sales. Itna marketing kar raha hu, sales nahi aa raha, right? And as people who have worked in corporate, we know that there is two different baskets. Marketing is different and sales is different. Marketing skill sets is not going to give you sales. So very, very important that we educate our people on the marketing element, because like the founder of Action Coach, Brad Sugar, says, if you start marketing now, you will get to see the results 6 months later. If you stop marketing now, you will see the results 6 months later. And at that point in time, it will be too late for you to revive because you are already out of sight of a lot of customers. And again, I remember during COVID, he used to make the statement, if you have to eat less, please eat less, but don't stop marketing. Because marketing is going to sustain you for a much longer time than that extra morsel of food. So, Mansi, again, coming you being in Nasik and Amitabh, you being in Calcutta, I also see a lot of resistance in investment in sales teams. It's a business owner who is selling. He doesn't believe that he needs a sales team or a sales process to be able to generate. Do you experience similar things in the parts that you're operating in?
Yes, that is true. I think again it boils down to the same thing that having different sales team and marketing team is like a double cost for them, and they think
Yeah.
that if I'm not going to get that sales or if I'm not going to get that revenue,
Mm.
I don't need these two
Mm.
separate teams. So yeah, that there is a resistance for two separate teams.
What I was saying was that most business owners, most entrepreneurs feel that no one can sell as well as they can.
Yeah.
And that is the big mistake they make, because they feel that, they are good at selling, so let them go out and sell, which effectively means they get involved only in one process of the business. A business is made up of multiple layers and multiple processes.
Mm.
And
Mm.
to be fair to the business, the entrepreneur needs to have a proper overview and have a dashboard where he can control the entire business,
Mm.
not just focus on one part of it.
Mm.
What he needs to do is train up people for that particular function who will be able to replicate what he's doing. That is the only way he can grow. If he does not want to grow, he wants to stay just a salesman, I mean, that's his choice. If he wants to grow and scale up, then he needs to have proper people in place to take care of what he's doing.
Mm. Anuj, what are your thoughts about the business owner himself selling?
Uh, Look, Amitabh, so Imalwa, when I've dealt with small business owners or leaders, my general observation has been is that they spend too much time in handling day-to-day processes. Now, that process can either be, managing operations, or it can be managing one single aspect of business like sales, right? And I think that really is a challenge. If you ask me, ideally from whatever we've read, we've learned, and we've been trained on by ActionCoach, the broad principles is that 80% of a business owner's time should go more into strategic items, into navigating the business through a changing environment, and into building a very solid team that lays the foundation for taking the business further, right? Other operational aspects and matters like sales are something that have to be delegated and left off to a team or a set of people who can perform that job well. Now, I understand the sentiment that some owners or business owners might feel that they do it better than others, but that doesn't mean they can't train anybody else to be as good or better than him or herself, right? So I think Amitabh alluded to this earlier as well. Business owners need to have an open mindset. They need to take cognizance of the fact that there's a lot of talent in a country like India. There's a good education system, and they can get good manpower. And once they do that, they can definitely train them to perform a very good job.
So that brings us to the one of the most important and critical elements, and Amitabh has already started laughing all about it. That is the business owner ready to invest in people? Not only time, not only money, but the time, the risk, and the risk of failing. That an employee may not stick around with us. And I have heard this multiple times in my journey, that where the business owner says, इसको अगर मैंने सिखा दिया तो ये कल मेरा ही business करेगा फिर से जाके. So I have created one more competition. And Mansi, what is your take on this? Because you have seen both sides of the coin.
Yes. Yes, so it is very true that many MSMEs have that fear that either that knowledge transfer is going to be a threat to them, Or the other fear is that once that person, especially in MSME, if a person is trained, that person will get that training, leave you, and start go join a bigger company with that knowledge, and then you are
Yeah,
left to train some other person. So this
right.
fear is always there, and which is also real up to a certain extent, if
Correct.
only if we can deal with it with better tools. But
So
as
what do you
far
think?
as
Yeah, please, sorry, please continue.
Yeah, so as far as the large corporates are concerned, it's like they have a free flow of candidates coming in, which MSMEs generally don't have. They have to really fetch for good, uh, resources.
So what is stopping MSMEs to attract good talent?
I think it again comes to the same brand name, having that, getting that feel of working for a bigger company where where they can see their growth, that career graph which they expect. That MSME is somewhere, I don't think they get that a feel good factor of their career growth in MSMEs, which larger corporates can give. So then that is why this,
But
so.
the Indian market is so huge. And I was reading an article in HBR a couple of years back when a young business owner
Hmm,
was interviewed in New York,
hmm,
and he was asked that you have started your business in New York. Where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? And his answer was, I want to be in India and China. And here I am meeting people in Kolkata who are saying, Kolkata market is so small. How can I grow?
yeah.
Why is it that we as business owners, and Amitabh is an exception because now he's talking about selling from Thailand to Middle East. That's the spectrum of market that he's going to get from his principals.
From Malaysia to
Sorry,
Middle East.
from
From
Malaysia.
India.
No, I thought Thailand was more exciting for you, Amitabh, so I said Thailand. But from Malaysia to Middle East, why is it that business owners are refusing to accept that I may be in Nasik, I may be in Kolhapur, I may be in Kolkata, I may be in Agra, I may be in Guwahati, but this is the place where I manufacture or I operate from, but the market is India and overseas. Why is it that we are not looking at that? Anuj, any thoughts?
Uh, well, look, Manoj, I think it comes back to investing in a good marketing strategy and clearly knowing who your customers are, right? Now that customer, whether it's localized, nationalized, or internationalized, as long as you realize the positioning of your product, and as a business owner, you acknowledge that your product can be bought by a customer in any of these markets, then it's about how you reach out to those markets, right? And therefore, having a solid marketing strategy to build around that is what will help. But yeah, I don't think owners should really localize themselves. They might just do it because of historical reasons. They're just used to a hometown, they're used to their neighborhood, they're used to those kind of customers. Therefore, they've never explored anything beyond that. But that's something, once shown to them, I think it is something that they would be willing to explore, because ultimately everybody is in business for growth and profitability, right?
Correct.
Um,
And to add on to what you just said, Anuj, uh, see what happens is that business owners are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs by nature are very, very intelligent. I mean, they wouldn't be entrepreneurs if they were not intelligent. And they know
Correct.
what is to be done. They deep inside, they know what is to be done. But they need someone to point out the obvious sometimes. When they're too busy doing firefighting every day, day-to-day work, they lose sight of the grand objective. And they lose sight of the process which is required to achieve that grand objective. They might be knowing that humko ye karna chahiye, but they need someone to come and give them a tap on the shoulder and tell them, okay, this is when you have to do this. That's very important, which is where coaching comes in as very, very important. So over to you,
Mansi, you were
Diwali.
adding something?
yeah. So I also think that one of the reasons why these business owners don't want to go into, maybe go beyond their local boundaries is because fear of entering into untested waters is also something that they don't want to do, simply for the reason that if it is a credit business and they go all in, and what if there is some financial risk involved in that? So these kind of risks they normally don't want to take, and that is why this localization is more predominant in MSMEs.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely hit the nail on the wall. That a lot of businesses in India are on credit, and if I am going to
Yeah,
sell all over the country, who's going to
yeah,
chase up my clients for the money,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And here I am stuck with my cash flows and my ARs and so on and so forth. Yeah.
yeah.
But a bigger challenge that I see in business owners, and when I run seminars, and I'm sure when Anuj and I run this seminar on the 18th, we will see that very few business owners have any projections of their business. When I run seminars, and I've run a few this year, and I was running one in Aurangabad uh, about a month and a half back. And I asked business owners, and there were about 60 people in the room, and I asked business owners, how many of you have a projected PL for 31st March 2024? Out of the 65 odd, only two of them. And this is what I think is a much bigger problem that we need to look at, or a much bigger opportunity for business owners that we as business coaches can address, is the planning. And like Brian Tracy says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And a lot of business owners are on that treadmill. They work slog day in and day out. And because there's no measurement matrix, they are not making that enough progress. So visioning is very critical. And I think more than visioning, it's about what do I want to achieve? And I know I'm not too sure how many people that you have spoken to on these lines, right? But I'm sure that you will have got those indications even in your past career that most business owners don't have a business plan.
That's right. That's right. Either by themselves or they have it somewhere in their mind. The rest of the
Yeah, it's all in the
stakeholders
mind.
around
Yeah,
them.
and
Yeah.
I think so. Sorry to interject, because I think Amitabh has lost a lot of his hair because he has everything in his mind, or he had
Yeah.
everything in his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Anuj. Amitabh, on this lighter note, please. Don't kill me when I'm there on 22nd.
No, so
You
I was
covered.
just saying that, the vision, an owner might be very clear in his or her own mind, but it's also very important that you carry everybody along with yourself, right? So the ecosystem, your other stakeholders in the business all need to be bought into that concept, right? And everybody needs to be moving in a particular direction. Look, it's very simple. If you don't know where the goalposts are, how are you going to score a goal,
Absolutely.
right? So everybody needs to be able to see where the goalposts are.
Correct. Correct. And that's where I think we all come in and help first design that goalpost if it's
Yeah,
not designed. Or if it's in the mind, take it from the mind onto a piece of paper and say, okay, this is your goalpost. How far have you reached? When will you reach? What are the challenges and what are the opportunities out there?
yeah,
So I have this client, and I'm not going to take the name of the client out here, but there are 7,000 crore client. They are based in Kolkata. They make edible oils. Right. And that entire management structure is built of partners and their sons and their nephews. And the assignment that I have with them is not on helping them scale up their sales, but is to define the role of each of these partners and their children, because everyone seems to be doing everything. And Mansi, coming to you, because you have a family business experience, how important or critical is it to align the family members when you are all part of that business? Or even if you're not part of the business, you also are responsible or for the outcomes of that business. So how important is it?
It is very essential to identify your strengths and how you can use that for your own business, because otherwise if everyone is working on everything, there is no accountability in general. And then again, there are a lot of conflicts also maybe between the management people, because everyone is doing everything. Even the customer doesn't know whom to reach out to for X issue, so it becomes a mess.
Whether you are going through this transition phase of succession, right? And a lot of your friends are going through the same uh, transition of succession. And Kolkata is one market that I see is facing a huge succession challenge, because Kolkata is such a place that where the youngsters don't want to live in Kolkata.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They all want to go and live in Bombays and the Bangalores and overseas.
Correct.
And I'm sure Nasik is
Same
very
with
similar. Nasik is very similar to that. So how do you handle succession, Amitabh?
So there are like what you told me when I discussed this with you. That is, I think, the ideal thing, the O+O model.
Yeah.
So it's ownership and operations. Who's going to take care? Whether it's the next generation, whether it's an outside agency, whether it's someone you hive off the business to. It all depends on how you want to. That depends on the entrepreneur himself. But what, as coaches, you have helped me, and we can help people, is to identify what needs to be done and identify the process to reach that goal. That is very, very important.
I'm sure you have, because we have been speaking, and not because I have been speaking with you. You have your plans of succession, but you
Right.
see, look around yourself, and you see so many of your friends who are just closing down businesses.
Blinkered. As you
And we're just closing down businesses. I was having a conversation with one of Amitabh's friends, and he says, "मैंने 3 business तो बंद कर दिया." मैं बोला, "क्यों?" बोलता है, "नहीं, my son is in Bangalore and in IT, and my daughter-in-law is also my would-be daughter-in-law is also in Bangalore in IT. कौन चलाएगा?" मैंने बंद कर दिया. I said, "What about exit? What about sell-off?" वो तो सोचा ही नहीं हमने बंद कर दिया business.
Malloy, also, why does succession have to be looked at only as passing on to family members?
Exactly.
It can be an external party while you passively continue to enjoy the benefits or the fruits of the business. But if you have a business that is sound, systemized, and process oriented, which can easily as effectively be run by a third party, why not explore that route?
Yeah, so there are multiple models of succession. Only one of them is passing it on to the next generation.
Yeah,
Right. Then we are working with one of our clients in Mumbai, who says, "I want to own the business but not run the business."
exactly.
Right. I want to earn my dividends out of it. I don't want to let it go because the brand is very close to my heart. So for the past 2 years, we have been working on systems, processes, people, etc. And now we have gotten a VP Ops who will be from 1st of April moved into a CEO role, so that this gentleman can take a backseat.
Yeah,
So you're absolutely right. You don't have to pass it on to a family member for the business to exist. And then there is the third model, which is very prominent in India, that is hive off. There has to be an
yes.
exit plan. You can still make a lot of money and hand over to your children who don't want to own the business, and so that they can use the money effectively rather than just shutting down the business.
Yeah.
So, but the challenge, Anuj, Mansi, and Amitabh, is a lot of people don't understand or don't know that these are models that exist. For them, succession is only from one generation to another. So, Mansi, you must be facing seeing similar situations with multiple other businesses in Nasik, because they're also the children don't want to stay in Nasik. You're on mute, Mansi. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
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 So yes, so this is an issue with Nasik as well, being tier 2 city. If all the second generation people want to go to Mumbai, Pune, or those metropolitan cities, and they don't want to work in the factories. So yeah, this is a issue, and many times it so happens that whoever is the owner who has been running the business for many years tries to pull it on for as many years as they can, and they just then randomly sell it off without any plan after a
Exactly.
point.
Exactly. Exactly. Uh, Mansi has been in business. She's a chartered accountant. Anuj has worked in large corporates, and he's also looked at PLs of businesses. Why are business owners averse to looking at numbers? They love money, but they hate figures.
Uh, I think there are two types of people. One is one or do I mean one part of them is like they have numbers in their mind, so they don't want to write it down. They don't want to, everything is in their mind. And the other type of people are who normally are so engaged in day-to-day hassle of doing business that they don't really look at numbers. They're so preoccupied with firefighting issues that they don't really go and see the numbers. It's only at the year end or quarter end whenever you're forced to look at the numbers.
When you're forced to look at the numbers. Amitabh, your thoughts?
Yeah, so most
Business
business
owners
owners,
in Kolkata really look at projected numbers, projected PLs, margins, costs, cash flows, etc.
क्यों देखेगा?
कौन?
क्यों देखेगा? क्यों
क्यों
देखेगा?
देखेगा? क्यों
क्यों
देखेगा?
देखेगा?
Right? Interesting.
Yeah, because see what happens is that's the attitude which people have. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. That's the
yeah,
attitude
yeah,
people have.
yeah.
देखिए वो तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का काम है, वो सीए देखेगा. मेरा काम है माल बेचना और खरीदना. मेरे को फिगर से क्या करना है. They don't realize माल बेचना खरीदना is again one part of the business. But you have to have full knowledge of where you're heading. Otherwise, you're headed for a train crash. It's very, very important. It's very, very important to have a look at all the figures to know what's happening in your business, because that is an indicator. That is the barometer of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do not know what Anuj feels about it, but my feel is that all of us have a family budget, except our businesses. Our businesses don't have a budget.
Yeah.
Right. And
I also think I totally agree with what Mansi and Amitabh have said. That's one point. But I also somewhere feel that, numbers are the harsh reality. Numbers don't lie. And therefore some people just tend to procrastinate, right? They don't want to face that reality at this moment in time. It is something that they will deal with when the quarter end or the year end happens, right? For them at this point in time, at this moment in life, the most important thing is only to sell their product. So वो वही देखेगा, right? For him, numbers is something that is an eventuality that will be looked at later. They don't realize that, as Amitabh mentioned, it's also a barometer, right? If you don't track your numbers, you don't know if you're selling the right quantities or selling the right type of product or selling it to the right people.
Right. So I remember this was again a client of mine. I was sitting with him in the first week of a month, and his accountant, so-called accountant, comes to him. Sir, बैंक में इतना पैसा है, कौन से वेंडर को कितना पैसा देना है, आप जरा बताइए. राइट? क्योंकि सबको सबको पैसा नहीं दे पाएंगे हम लोग. सबका ड्यू है, लेकिन सबका पैसा नहीं दे पाएंगे. कौन सा वेंडर को देना है? So I asked him, don't you have a projected cash flow 3 महीने का? बोलते वो क्या होता है? Right? So and something that we work with very closely, and Amitabh and I work very closely, is when we talk to our clients, one of the things that we say is, do you have a 90-day projected cash flow week on week, so that you know which week you have a problem? Because businesses are all about ups and downs. कभी आपको बहुत ज्यादा इन्वेंट्री पे खर्चा हो गया, सैलरीज दे दिया, you run out of cash, but are you able to forecast for the next 13 weeks, is there a week that I have a negative bank balance? Negative bank balance cannot exist, right? So either you reduce some of your expenses or you increase your inflow. Because the worst case situation of a bank balance is zero. Forget the ODs. I'm not talking about the ODs. Just the normal bank balance. And unfortunately, with so much of knowledge that is going around, these are some basic information that is not getting passed on to the business owners. And one thing that I think all of us in this room today excel in is doing those small things right for the business owner. It's not about the big thing. छोटा चीज करते रहोगे तो बड़ा चीज अपने आप हो जाएगा, right? But it's all about focusing on the business owner. So last two questions before I wrap up today, and this is something that I've faced multiple times. A client hires a business coach, right? The business has been going on for 20-25 years. And he has a set of challenges and he has a set of opportunities. A business coach comes in and things need to change in next 3 to 6 months. How feasible or how practical it is? Amitabh, I'll put you onto the altar first.
It's like, I'm having a regular constant battle with my weight. I love eating, and as you have seen, I am slightly overweight. And I go to a dietitian and I expect that dietitian to wave a magic wand and get me down from 105 kgs to 75 kgs in 2 weeks or something. How feasible is that?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same way with business. A business which has been operated or been run in an unhealthy fashion without giving a thought to the figures, without giving a thought to sales and marketing being separate entities, without giving a thought to the processes and systems, you cannot expect a coach to come in and change things overnight. The coach will help you, guide you, and hold you accountable for whatever needs to be done in the business to make it correct, to make it leaner, meaner, and more adaptable to today's circumstances. But it will not be done overnight. So it takes time. Everything takes time. And that time has to be given with the effort of the business owner. It's not the coach's job alone. It is equally the responsibility of the business owner to ensure that he gets the maximum benefit of the coaching. That's
So
what
I've
I
been
feel.
asked this. So I've been asked this. How do you define a coach? How do you define a business coach? And I've been asked this multiple times. आप लोग करते क्या हो? आप बोलते हो आप कुछ नहीं करते, लेकिन आप करते क्या हो? So, any thoughts, Anuj? हम करते क्या हैं?
I think we
I
are the
would,
people who hold the business owner accountable. Sorry, Anuj.
yes, yeah, no, I agree, Amitabh, completely. Hold ourselves as well as the business owners accountable to achieve one and only one result, that is success in their business. You know, I have no vendetta or personal interest of mine.
Yeah.
The success of my client is my client's success, right? And what we can do as a business coach is just to implement a number of strategies, test and measure which ones are working for them or which ones are not, but just do it in a very, very disciplined fashion to achieve the results. And Malloy, something you said earlier, and I'll reflect upon that again over here. I think
Yeah.
it's absolutely and of utmost importance for a business to understand that majority of business is not about making path-breaking changes, right? There is no magic wand that will change the outcomes for the business overnight. This is a process where you need to take small steps of the obvious, but in a very disciplined manner to achieve massive results. And that is what the business coach will deliver.
Hmm. Hmm. Mansi, your thoughts, magic wand?
I think I'll put it in a very layman's term,
Yeah.
like Amitabh had put. Uh, when we go to the gym, we need a personal trainer. It's not that we don't know what to do. We know, but it is just that we need someone to keep us on track to reach our goal. So business coach is exactly the same thing, that the business owners are very intelligent. They know what they want, but it
Yeah.
is just that you need to keep directing them to stay on that track to achieve their goals. And that is what business coach does.
Fantastic. I use this example, and with India doing extremely well, I'm told even today they're doing extremely well. I say that as a business coach, we are Rahul Dravids. We sit outside the cricket ground, we strategize, we give directions, but रोहित शर्मा और विराट कोहली को ही जाके छक्का मारना होगा, हम नहीं मार पाएंगे. आप ही को मारना है, because it is your business and your success. We want you to be successful and we will do everything possible for you to become successful, but the actions need to be taken. And like Anuj mentioned, the word action coach comes in from that focus on the actions, the results will come. Focus on the results. Without focusing on the actions, the result will not come. So it's all about focusing on the small actions. Last question, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up. India, this is India's decade, and we know whether it is the moon mission or whichever mission we may talk about, it's the SME MSME sector which has played a very important role. It is also not the time for the Mumbai's and the Bangalore's and the Hyderabad's of the world. It is the time for the Nasiks and the Kolkatas and the Guwahati's and the Raipurs and the Kolhapurs of the world. So, what is that one invigorating statement that you would want to leave behind, or thought that you would want to leave behind for those business owners who are either watching us, watching the live stream, or will watch the video later? But what is it, that one thing that you would want to leave behind for them as a closing thought? Amitabh, you want to go first?
I would always emphasize on mindset, on changing your thought
Yeah,
process. Embrace change, because change is the only way you can grow.
right. Okay, fantastic. Anuj?
My only advice would be that there should be acknowledgement. Just acknowledge that there is room for improvement. Right. If we believe that we can do better, we can always grow, and we can always grow on a sustainable basis.
Okay, fantastic. Mansi, you are from the real India.
Yeah, I think it is about being open minded and trying to really listen and understand what can be done to scale up the business rather than saying, I know everything. Just be open to understand really what can be done to achieve their goals.
Absolutely. And let me summarize it on behalf of all of you. I believe that when the ecosystem is the same, when the economic conditions are the same, when people are the same, why is it that some people are at 50 crore after, 5 crores after 50 years, and some people are at 500 crores after 25 years? The only difference is all that you've spoken about, and it is nothing to do with the business. And what all of you have spoken about is the mindset of the business owner. If you believe you can grow, if you acknowledge that there is an opportunity, and if you really trust your instincts and not move into that I know it all, then the world will be certainly at our feet, not literally but figuratively. That the opportunity is there. Ladies and gentlemen, people who are watching, there are fantastic coaches, action coach, certified coaches with this firm Beyond Red Ocean Consulting in Kolkata, with Amitabh, with Anuj in Mumbai, Mansi in Nasik. I am there all over the place, so I do not know where I live in, but we are there to help you grow. And what one message that has come out from all of us, and it will always be from all of us, is we are there to help you grow. Yes, we are a commercial organization. We also want to make money, but our primary motive is to help. Uh, Amitabh, thank you so much for joining in. Anuj, thank you so much. Mansi, thank you so much for joining in. Any last comments that you would want to leave behind for the audience that is watching?
Nothing
Amitabh,
from nothing from me,
Anuj,
really.
Anuj,
No, just thank you. I think we had a wonderful discussion.
yes. And Mansi, thank you very much. Any
Thanks.
last comment? And people who are watching us live or will watch this video tomorrow on the YouTube, Anuj and I are doing a seminar on the 18th of November in Andheri Holiday Inn. It will be a 2 hour business transformation journey. It's complimentary, and we do this on a regular basis. It's absolutely complimentary. Mansi has consented to join us, and she will come in all the way from Nasik. Amitabh has decided that he has other things on his plate and other clients that he needs to manage over the weekend, because he coaches only on Fridays and Saturdays because he has a business to manage. So he has his clients, so he won't be able to join us. But Anuj and I will be there. Mansi will be there, and we will take you through a 2 hour journey on business transformation. And if there's something that you can pick up there and implement in your business, which will help you scale up, I think we will be more obliged than all of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And till the next time, and we will do these conversations on a regular basis. Till next time, thank you so much and have a great evening ahead.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.